Legend has it that back in the day, a German pilot was having an affair with this woman. And the story goes that she had used her nail polish to paint the monopusher red, so that every time this pilot looked down at his watch, he would think of her and he would return home safely. Or so the story goes. But regardless, I've got a watch here, guys. It's the Hanhart Monopusher Mark 1. It's a 40mm. It sits beautifully on the wrist. It's got a lot of historical significance, and I want to share my thoughts on this watch. Let's run the intro. Let's check this thing out. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This Hanhart has got a lot of historical significance. It's a monopusher. It's called the Monopusher Mark 1. It's a pilot's chronograph, and it basically replicates the first monopusher made in 1938 by Hanhart. It was the military issued version, so it's almost an exact replica, and it's brought up to today's modern technology. Now, the watch was kindly lent into the channel by Define Watches, and I want to say a big thank you to them, because I've been wanting to get my hands on a Hanhart and this has not let me down. And for those who don't know, Define Watches is an authorized dealer of Hanhart and many other brands. I encourage you guys, check them out. If they're happy to lend us out watches like this for us to review, man, I'm more than happy to give them a free plug. And yeah, check them out. They're really cool. A lot of watches, a lot of nice German watches, a lot of nice watches that we don't normally get to see mainstream, which is wonderful. Let me run you guys through the specifications and then we'll talk a bit about this watch. So what we have is a case diameter of 40mm exactly. The case height I'm measuring at exactly 15mm. The lug to lug distance is 49.1 and a lug width of 20mm. Now, the crown is an oversized crown and comes in at exactly 7.9mm, and the weight of the watch comes in at 103 grams. So on the wrist, this watch wears beautifully. At 40mm, that dial is superb. The look, the legibility, no problems. The height at 15mm is a tad proud, however it does seem to sit nice on the wrist, and the comfort of that calfskin leather strap is beautiful. I think Hanhart has brought into the modern era one of their original designs, and I absolutely love it. There's a lot of stories going on behind this particular watch, that even Steve McQueen had worn one of these. He wasn't paid to wear the Hanhart. That was his watch of choice, watch of preference. He was paid, I think, by Tag to wear the Monaco. However, this was the watch that he chose to wear, that he desired to wear. And whether that story is true or not, I'm not sure, but legend has that as well. There you go. But the watch features 100 meters of water resistance. That crown is absolutely superb. It's saying to me, wind me. And now it is an automatic, but the winding experience, my goodness, that's just beautiful. Absolutely lovely. See, the movement is a modified Valjoux 7753. It's been heavily modified by Hanhart to be able to cater for a monopusher, and not only a standard monopusher, guys. See, the actual pusher is as far away as possible from the crown. And the reason they do that is so that it can operate like a stopwatch nicely, or even on the wrist, it can operate nice and easy. So it's designed in a way where you can use it as an intended tool for a pilot. And I really like that. There's a very nice healthy snap there, and I really like not only the engineering and functionality part of it, but the overall look and aesthetics. I think they've done a great job. Now, if you look at that monopusher crown, you might think to yourself, yeah, but something like this will probably wear out, having a little rubber. It looks like a rubber cap. It's not. It's ceramic. They've thought this through. Like I said, they've brought this watch into the modern era, and having a ceramic cap on this pusher makes sure that it's going to go the test of time. That's excellent. Now, if we look at the bezel on this watch, as you can see, it's got a beautiful coin profile, a very nice knurling on it. It's pretty much Hanhart's signature of their watches, and I love this. It's very reminiscent of the 1930s. The action of it's very smooth. As you can see, it's frictionless, so there's no ratcheting, no nothing. It goes in both directions. It doesn't look like it can accidentally get knocked, but it is an interesting experience, something that you need to get used to. Again, more reminiscent to the vintage era. I think it adds to its appeal and its desirability. It's a really nice look. Moving on, looking at that dial, as you can see, you've got two sub-dials of the 9 and 3. It's nicely balanced, there's no date. I think they've done a really good job as far as replicating the original and giving us something that's character and historical significance. I like that. It's really nice. Those hands are cathedral hands, as you can see, with syringe tips at the end. Very legible, no issues with legibility, extremely easy to read. And as you can see, they're lume filled, including those Arabics. So I'll give you guys a lume shot, as you can see. And although it is nice, easily legible, those Arabics could do with a little bit more lume, but it is what it is. Now the crown itself, as we spoke before, it's a beautiful oversized crown coming in at about 7.9 mil. It is not a screw down crown, so we can pull it out, and as you can see, it's hacked the movement and we can adjust the time. So very, very nice. It's a beautiful, sublime feeling. You can feel that there's quality in this watch. As you start that, the second hand starts again. So the mono pusher controls that sweeping hand. So as you can see, we can stop it, reset it, start it again. So one button basically controls the whole function of the chronograph. And there you go. Let's have a look at that leather strap. As you can see, it's a calf skin leather. It's got a beautiful rivet in it. Very, very robust, very solid, and I think it's designed to go the test of time. And you saw from the back, it's got a solid case back, 100 meters of water resistance, made in Germany, and basically Pioneer Mark 1. So a purpose-built watch for back then, and I think bringing it into the modern era, they've done a really nice job. I've been enjoying this. I've been loving this on the wrist. I think it's something vintage, something that brings a little bit of our history and culture into this modern era, and I like that. I really do. Now, if you look at the sapphire crystal on this watch, it's a double dome sapphire crystal. It's got a ever so slightly curve to it with anti-reflective coating on the underside. It seems to be doing a good job there. There hasn't been real legibility issues, especially with those cathedral hands and black dial. It's been standing out beautifully. I'll share with you guys what I think the positives and negatives are of a watch like this. And you know, positive wise, I think replicating something from it's their watch, their original watch, and bringing something back, I think that's great. So the overall look is brilliant. Those lugs coming out of that case, the way this thing basically makes you feel having a historical looking piece, but with modern architecture in here, I like that. I think that's a real big plus. Positive number 2, that mono pusher. I love it. I love the story behind it, whether or not the fact that this German pilot was having an affair and they painted red, or it is what it is. But I like the fact that it actually looks different. It brings a little bit of fun and curiosity into a watch like this, and it's what this hobby is about, having some fun pieces. It's not a serious hobby. You know, we can't be just sitting there serious. No, this is what hobbies are for, to enjoy it, and this is an enjoyable watch. Number 3, wearability. Although it's 15mm in height, I do think it wears really well on the wrist, albeit the lugs at 49.1 thereabouts. It sits nice on my wrist, having an 18cm wrist. That's really good to have a pilot's watch, a pilot's chronograph at that size. I like it. And lastly, I'd say as a positive, the build. The build is superb. Absolutely love it. I can't fault the build. It's solid, it's German made. You know what? That crown, there's another positive. That's brilliant. That is a fantastic, although it's not a screw down crown, the fact that it's you know, the resistance is beautiful. It's a signed crown. It's almost 8mm. Love it. It's just a functional tool, and I think Hanhart has done really, really well. In fact, they've got this in 2 color variations. They've got the black and they've got like an ivory or whitish style, which in hindsight, I probably should have asked them to send me out the other one, because I'm loving this. I would have loved to see that as well, but there you go. There's a couple of different variations. Now, as far as dislikes, my main dislike of the watch, most probably those Arabics. It would have been nice to have just that little bit more lume. Not a deal breaker if I was to buy something like this. Definitely not a deal breaker. I think more the vintage historical significance of a piece like this is what's going to draw me. That sapphire crystal, probably a second negative. It could have had just that extra 1 or 2 layers of AR coating. But again, whenever you get double dome sapphires, you're always going to have an issue with picking up stray light and reflections. That's normal, but it seems to play well with this dial. And probably the last negative, if I can call it a negative, just that height. You know, it is a tad high at 15. it really doesn't bother me. I've got the I featured in a Mega that I purchased recently, the Speedmaster Racing. I just got that, and that's pretty much the same height, 15mm, and they do tend to sit well on the wrist. They do tend to sit quite nice. So, but guys, let me know your thoughts. I think a very nice historical watch, a beautiful vintage feel. I love its build, I love its layout, I love the fact that, you know, it's a functional tool rather than just, you know, an homage or something that's been made, you know, brought forward. It's actually a very nice solid piece. So I hope you enjoyed that review. Let me know your thoughts, guys, what you think. For me, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. It's a really cool piece at 40mm. Gee, you can't go wrong. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all in the next video.